Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Screaming, tires bleeding, virtual cubes, the motor's breathing, engine thunder from down under, piston fire, turn asunder, put your name in lights. Oh, with the vets tonight, it's a 1,000 decibel supercar fight, burn this track to the ground with V8 sound. But the racing's real. Pedal down every pass you feel. Step right up and place your bets. This is us, the V8 Vets. Put your name in lights. Put your name in lights with the vets tonight. It's a 1,000 decibel supercar fight. Burn this track to the ground with V8 sound. Put your name. It's a 1,000 decibel supercar fight. Burn this track to the ground with V8 sound. Burn this track to the ground. Come on now, put your name in lights.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back in for a special preview of the upcoming season for the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 action. We're live on the Infinity Broadcasting and V8 Veterans channels, and welcome to fabulous Season 25. As we'll give a little breakdown of Split 2 coming into this next season. We'll mention some names, make some picks, and even give a couple of hints at who will be concentrating on this season in terms of trying to spread the narrative across the whole field. But Hamish Munro here with you, alongside Brett Fisher once again. Brett, welcome back in. It's exciting. 25 seasons. I'm trying to do the math in my head now. It's coming up on...
don't have a breakdown just yet, mate. We haven't even started the season.
6 years, I think it is now, Vets. Yeah, so 6 years we're now past here in the Vets as we get to the 25th season. Next season is our Platinum Anniversary season for Season 26 after this upcoming season, but this is the technically Platinum season itself. So, big season coming into it, big challenge. Last season was absolutely epic. The season prior was epic as well, and so was the season before that. Gen 3 has really turned it on. I know there's been a lot of complaints from drivers about the struggles of these cars on track, but it's actually created some fantastic racing for us, and I think it has really livened it back up in terms of livening up the championship. Not that the titles were not as good when we were in Gen 2, but I just think maybe it's recency bias, maybe it's not. It feels like we've been playing with a full deck the last few seasons. It's been absolutely cracking.
G'day, Hamish, and I'm happy to be back for another season. Hopefully, everyone out there as well in listening land. And it's great to be back for another season calling. I think this Gen 3, there's been a teething period. People getting used to the car, and then I think part of it could be also the the splits, the way they've been dealing up the splits and stuff like that, that it's been getting better and better. We talk about last season, how close the times were in practice and qualifying. I think at one stage we had 31 cars over a second. I mean, that's huge. That is just massive. So if last season's got anything, if this season's got anything on last season, it is going to be an absolute full deck.
Well, I think it's, the splits are not made on a complete dice roll. It's a very selective and almost, I'm not going to say rigged, because they don't rig the lineups, but it's a heavily considered flop that comes towards us in terms of dealing out the cards on offer for this season. If you can't tell already, we're trying to get as many gambling references as we can out of us this season. So this is only the start. You've still got 10 more races with us and many 20 plus hours of this sort of stuff. So get prepped and get strapped in. This is our driver list, though, for this season. Coming into it, very, very strong list. Couple of returning names, couple of names that have gone in between Split 2, Split 3, Split 2, Split 1 last few seasons, and a couple of new boys as well. And if we highlight those drivers who've come up, come down, or come into town for the first time, well, we can see that it's going to be very, very difficult to try and match into this Split 2 crowd. Coming up from Split 3, Peter Latham, Brett Horsell, Russell Uren, Alex Kiddas and Ron Allen make their way into Split 2. Coming down from Split 1, Stephen Clark, Jim Caprona, Stephen Grumley as well. And then coming in for the first time to the vets, Adam Moore and Tony Chapman will be making their debuts this season. Now, obviously, we broke this down a little bit yesterday during the split reveal with John, Zippy, and Travis as well. But
there was a ring-in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe Travis was the ring-in. Possibly.
Oh, it was it?
Yeah. He went in there by mistake and then just ended up hanging around.
Don't worry, I'm going to ring in this show.
There's always a fly on the wall somewhere.
I
spoke through a couple of names yesterday, which I highly recommend everyone goes and watches, actually, because we had a great conversation and breaking down every single split, not just Split 2, but I wanted a bit of time to properly break this down prior to the season, get the thoughts out on the table, get the ideas out on the table, but also get viewers prepared of what's actually what are our plans this season. For once, we've actually pre-planned what we want to talk about for a season. We haven't just rocked up in round one and been like, let's watch the race and see what happens. No, we want to try and
we want to build the excitement. I think we've been building the excitement anyway. But I think we want to. My thing is I want to spread the love throughout the field and just get everyone fired up, what's going on, who's where, what's happening, and as you say, keep going, Hamish. I rudely interrupted you.
No, it's totally
and I'll continue to do that.
But it's all good, Brett. We've been interrupting each other now for roughly, or for 30 races together. So what's another 10?
Well, more? I actually like how you introduce me and then you don't give me a chance to actually respond.
I've got to build you up a little bit and then let you down incredibly hard after I give you that introduction.
I'm used to that. Yeah, that's all right.
But
right, keep going, Hamish. Yep, you're right. You've got the floor.
But
ding, ding.
I mean, what a season it's going to be with these new drivers coming in. Unfortunately, I don't know very much, if anything at all, about Adam Moore and Tony Chapman. So I'm excited to see what they can bring to the table. They are the wild cards, we'll call them. I was going to call them jokers, but I don't know if they actually are jokers or not.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, wild cards can mean a lot of things. They could be.
Well, when it's Uno,
absolutely.
When it's Uno, it gets quite contested whether you can block a pick up 4 with the wild card or not.
That's right. Yeah. But who knows? I mean, look, that really, it's going to take. Okay, so they're new to vets. They haven't raced with us, so it's going to take them a little bit to get their heads around, what's going on. I know when I first started vets, you get on the first grid and your first race, you're nervous, what's going on, all these things going through your head. So these guys are going to be in that same boat, but we don't know their racing history. They might be cool as cucumbers and just go out there and put on a display. And time will tell. It might take them 2 or 3 races to get their head around it and be right amongst it and things like that. But we'll soon we'll keep an eye on them and we'll see how they go.
Well, I'm glad that you just mentioned first time lining up on the grid rep, because I just did a little bit of maths for myself, because I was interested to find out, well, I'm 13 years away from being of vet's age. What season would it be that I would be applicable to join the vets? Because when my birthday is, when I would turn 40, etc., etc. I've just done the maths. First season I could possibly ever drive in, Brett, is season 77. We are 52 seasons away from when I could possibly join vets. That is assuming that they're still going to run 4 seasons per year. At 13 years, it's 52. Add that to 25, 77. So that's when I can next join vets.
But don't wish your time away, though, either,
No,
Hamish.
I'm not going to wish my time away at all. I do not wish my time away. Every year seems to be going by faster and faster, and it scares me. I want it just to slow right down, please.
Well, he doesn't slow down.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, it goes faster and faster, and 1 year goes past, you go, oh, geez, where'd that go?
Yeah.
We digress.
Yeah, we do indeed. Then there's new drivers coming in from Split 3. Well, Peter Latham, he's been in Split 2 before now. The other 4 boys have never had an opportunity in Split 2. Brett Horsell.
So Peter Latham,
Ronell.
Peter Latham, he's going to be coming back again. He dropped down last season. He got battered around a fair bit the season prior in Split 2. So hopefully he had a half decent season last season. I didn't print off where he finished, unfortunately, but it must have been pretty decent. So he's coming back. So look out. And Pete is, he's a fairly old racer. When I say that, he's well attuned to racing. He knows racing, and he does drive the car very, very well. So Pete is going to be not a slouch when it comes to being in this split.
No, I don't think he will be at all. Just for the confirmation, he was P5 in Split 3 last season. He was, ironically, 77 points off the lead of the championship to Brett Horsell. So we've come up blackjack with that one. We've got the full house. But
aced it.
We aced it, yeah. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what Pete can do this season, whether he can... I think he has the capabilities to stay up for a season. I think he's definitely got the capabilities of putting a challenge in. The easiest way you could possibly stay up in a season is make every single round. You're pretty much guaranteed to stay in the split if you're able to do that. Brett Horsell as well did pretty well last season. Of course, won Split 3, so I have no doubts that Brett is capable. Russell Uren,
definitely.
I think if he can put a full season together as well, he's capable of staying amongst this split, maybe even getting a top 20 in the championship now that he has his teammate Simon Haynes in this split with him as well. Ron Allen.
So Russell,
as well.
Sorry, mate. Russell Uren, he's done 1 season with vets.
2 seasons. He was in Split
2
4
seasons.
as well.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. Yep. So he's moved up the ranks pretty quickly. So Split 2 is going to be a test for him.
Just to confirm, this would actually be his 4th season because he's on 33 race starts. So he's done at least 4 seasons.
Okay. Sorry about that, Russell.
But yeah, so Russell I think is very capable of staying up in Split 2. It just depends how the chips fall for him. Ron Allen as well, a little bit unproven in vets. He's very fresh. Obviously, this is only his 3rd season in the vets now, so he's got a little bit of work to do. I've seen him race in other places. I think he's capable, but again, it's whether he can keep it clean and try and improve him. And he's called this a developmental season for himself, which is I think is actually a very, very amicable mindset to bring into this season because it's a whole different ball game when you go from Split 3 to Split 2 and you've never been in Split 2 before. It's a completely different mindset you've got to bring to it, and I think he's bringing the right mindset. Alex Kiddis is the one with the asterisks for me, Brett. I mentioned it yesterday. I think Alex has got all the talent and the pace in the world to stay in Split 2, even get a top 15 finish in Split 2. Unfortunately, I think he just makes the wrong decisions on track every now and again. And I think this will be a real eye-opening season for him. And if he wants to remain in Split 2, he's going to have to put up pretty fast. Like, he's going to have to really nut down and get himself prepped, because
Yeah.
pick
the cautionist, pick the caution numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We did have a chat about not Alex per se, but like in that same realm, like we was talking about what makes a good series, for drivers, and it relates, I think, in this as well. We were talking about at the time, what is it going to take to sort of win the series?
Yeah.
But it also applies to sort of newcomers into the game.
That's
Like
right.
we talked about being fast, smart, aggressive when you need to be aggressive, and cautious when you need to be cautious.
Yeah.
And that's all racecraft, and that's probably what you're talking about with Alex Kiddis. I've seen a little bit of his stuff in the replays in the previous splits and things like that. And as you say, you've got to make the right choices on track. Now, coming into a new split, the racing's very different. And even when you sort of move from split 2 to split 1, the racing is different again. And you have to actually, it takes a bit of well, I was going to say homologation, but that's not right. It takes a little bit of time to sort of adjust your driving. And if some of these other things aren't quite hitting the mark, it's just a matter of actually just, playing the long game and just making the right choices at the right time.
Yeah, and I think Hoffy said it perfectly in the chat. Split 2 is where you refine the racecraft. You
Definitely.
mess up and you get punished. I compared it yesterday to it's a performance center for vets. I think Split 3 is a performance center as well, but I think Split 3 is a performance center to get your pace up to scratch.
Yep.
Split 2 is where you get your racecraft up to scratch. This is a
Definitely.
cleanest split for a reason. It's the cleanest split because it is the racecraft split. This is the split where drivers may not necessarily be at split 1 pace. There's definitely split 1 pace drivers in here. We know this. There's former split 1 drivers. There's drivers who've been up and down from split 1 and split 2 all the time. But this is the racecraft split. It's the performance center split. It's where you refine your art and get it to an absolute perfective, perfect key. It's, for any US viewers out there, if you are watching, it's like comparing the NFL to college football, for example. Split 3 is college football. Split 2 is the NFL. For Australian terminology, split 3 is the VFL, split 2 is the AFL. At least between the two of them. Split 1's obviously the top level, but
and it's no diss on the other splits at all, because there's some still fast drivers, in there. But you've got to. It is one of those things that you have to learn, and there's other things you have to learn.
Yeah.
I think I was saying to you before, Hamish, we started that like in my journey through with racing and stuff like that, it's I'm on a development run as well. It's a matter of I still need to learn pit strat. I still need to learn fuel save. I still need to, which is going to save you time. And we talked about that previously as well. Like just getting your fuel calcs right can save you time in the pits. And all those things are so important in a race because it is positions on track, and especially when the field is so further condensed in time, it makes your mistakes, a small mistake, even more catastrophic when you get into a smaller, finer tuned pack.
So the way that I kind of look at it is, you look at it similarly to developmental racing. You're going through the stages of developmental racing before you get to the top level. Split 4 is where you get it's where you get comfortable racing. Split 4 is the split where you find some pace, you find some racecraft, you become a solid driver, you get comfortable, and then you make the move up to split 3. Split 3 is then when you try and refine and get to your pace marker and try and remain at your pace marker. Split 2 is where you get to your racecraft marker, and then split 1 is where you put it all together and you see where you stack up against the best in the field.
Start putting on a show.
Exactly, that's where you start putting on a show. The best example of this in recent times is Ray Smith. Ray had great pace. He was not comfortable in the car though because he'd come from a bike racing background. He got dropped from split 3 to split 4 in split 4's first season. Dominated the season because he found his pace and he got more and more confident and comfortable in the car as the season went on. He won split 4, went to split 3, refined his racecraft within split 3 and his pace as well. They decided, well, he's got the pace of split 1. His racecraft's getting better already. He doesn't need to go through the racecraft portion of going through split 2. That's put him straight up to split 1 and see what he can do. Survived, finished in the top 15 in the championship. Very
days.
similarly, mirror image could be Kaya Kinzel in future seasons as well. He's just come up into split 3. We'll see how that pans out though. So for Alex, he more so, this is where he fine-tunes and refines his racecraft. You know, he asked a lot of questions last season to race control. Hopefully in the off-season he's read the rulebook. He's done some studying and he's done some self-reflection and he's done some self-improvement, and he comes into this season, bang, you're ready to go, you're ready to survive. If he does that, he will stay in because he has the pace to stay in, right? But he will learn very quick. You cannot make quick-fire decisions on track. You have to plan, you have to strategize, and you have to take your time. One example of this, and we saw it play out last season, was Bruce Tannick. Very early on in the season, Bruce Tannick made some questionable decisions on track, copped himself a round ban, which he was already close to early in the season. After that round ban was completed, he came back, and it was like a new Bruce Tannick. It was like a new... Now, yes, he was very aggressive still, which he's an aggressive driver. Everyone's allowed to be as aggressive as
and that's
they
okay.
wish. It is okay. He came back, though, but the last half of the season, he was a lot better than what he was at the start of the season. And I think this next season will be a real building season for Bruce, and I'll be really excited to see what he can do. He's got the pace. For my money, he's the number 1 seeded driver on pace alone in Split 2. And I think pace alone he can win. It's if he can be consistent again. Because the last few rounds last season, he looked fantastic. He had some real shiners last season. Won his first race at Portland. He can definitely win more than one. And I think this season is where he can really put the shine on it, get the racecraft up, get more comfortable in the car, and then get ready to make a strike at getting back to Split 1 next season. And
so basically you're saying Bruce Tannick you've got your chips on Bruce, and it's his championship to lose at this stage.
I'm not necessarily all in on him because I know how.
But you got some chips on him.
I have some on him. I think it's.
Yeah.
I've got probably 5 drivers I'm relatively confident can be battling for this championship next season. It is whether everything goes their way.
And before we get into them, which we will get into them in a little bit later, but we'll talk about probably the guys coming back down from Split 1.
Yep.
So, we've got Steve Grumley.
Well, I mean, Grumley's former champion, won it back in season 21. That was when he went up to Split 1. For season 22, 2 seasons or 3 seasons later, now coming into Split 25, he comes back to Split 2. He'll obviously be hoping to become a 2-time champion. His teammate Steve Lanyon will be hoping to win his first title in Split 2. Came so close only a year ago in season 20 and just missed out in the very last round. So both of those guys will be hungry for it. Jim Caparonis has been away for the majority of last season, so there may be a little bit of asphalt rust on him. He may use this season to recalibrate, get prepped, and focus up, get himself back into winning ways. He won his first race only 2 seasons ago, his only race win to date. He'll be hoping to, up that ante a little bit more coming into this season as well. May not come into this season expecting to challenge for the championship, but we'll see what he looks like early on. Obviously, we'll get an early preview of what he looks like. We'll see how he looks for the season. We can make a pretty good judgment case off of Jim because we know how he races. He's raced here before. He's someone who, if he comes out firing in all cylinders in round 1, we can pretty much lock him in to be. Yeah, we can lock him in to pretty much be around and about the top 5 of the championship again. Stephen Clark of TTR, of course, the Sandman from the Pro Series, only in his now 4th season of Vets. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Actually, it might be his 3rd season because he might have been around in an earlier season when there was 11 rounds. So you'll have to mind me on that math a little bit.
Right.
I'll be interested to see what he can do. He's come back down from Split 1. I know you've got some stats on him, Brett. It'll be interesting to see what he can do in this split. Of course, TTR is a big name. It's a big name team. He might be the first member of TTR, or at least he's the only member of TTR in the modern era of Vets to be here. But you look at the lineage of that team and drivers who in future could be in Vets, Madison Down, Emily Jones, drivers like that who could be in Vets in the future. And, you look at Steven and, he'll have a little bit to prove, but I think this next season he's going to be one to watch. Well, I think all 3 of those guys, they're going to be ones we'll be keeping an eye on all season.
100%. I'll be interested to see. Well, like we talked about Jim, I'm interested to see how he goes first off when he comes out of the chute. I'll be really keen to watch him. and Mr. Clarkey. I'll be definitely keen to see how he rolls. Like I think there was a lot of pressure on him heading into split one straight up, and that's okay. I mean, he had the pace and lots of stuff. It'd be really interesting to see how he goes in split two, and like we talked about just before, this will be good for him, to race and just to refine those skills and get the confidence back in the car and stuff like that. So it'll be really, really good to see.
Pete making a good point. More seat time for him, and he'll be in the top 5. So he's they're 3 guys that we're well aware they're going to be around and about it. I mean, of the drivers who came down, Lorne Mackay also went up to split 1 this season. Sorry, we were talking about that earlier. There was a 6th driver that went up. It was Lorne Mackay, although he might have been in the top 5.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, my brain's gone.
Yeah. Lorne Mackay. Yep.
But out of the 5 drivers who went up, only 2 of them were former split 1 of the season prior. 3 of them were returning split 2 drivers of Halil Cesar, Reece Degoe, and Lorne Mackay. So only 2 of them had actually come down from split 1 that season. So we look at this list and we think, well, are all 3 of those guys going to go back up again? Well, that's going to depend on their championship. It's going to depend on the season. It's the most competitive split for my money and statistics-wise. It's, for me, the 5 drivers off the face of it.
Right, here we go. 5 drivers.
We'll make the claim of the 5 drivers
Actually,
of remaining split 2 drivers, because we're already going to be focusing on the new drivers who've come in. The 5 remaining drivers for me, who I'll be looking at this season, I'll be thinking you could be in the top 5 this season, is Bruce Tanek, Chad Viger. I'm looking at this list. Darren Crosby. How many is that? That's 3.
3, yep.
Let's have a look here.
You did mention Damon before.
I did, but I want to keep him for a different list. I've got Damon for a different list.
That's all right. Yep.
Brent O'Brien.
Yep.
And
Tim Mulford.
Yeah. I've got Tim on a different list as well, but
sorry, I've got your different list.
I'm gonna say those 4 names because you've already mentioned 2 of the other names that I have for a different list. We'll do it in 4s.
Yep.
We'll do it in in the class of King, Jack, Queen, and Ace. But
before you head off, I just wanted to get maybe some people in the chat too, if they've got some names that they might think that might be 100%. In there.
Yep, 100%.
Chuck them in. Let's have a mass debate about it.
A mass debate. And actually, I've got a 5th name for my other one now, but I'm gonna stay with 4 for this one. My 4 for this one are Tanek, Chad Viger, Brent O'Brien, and Darren Crosby. They are the 4 remaining split 2 drivers on the face of it, who I think
they're
will be challenges.
They're the remaining drivers in the split. This is not counting the new drivers coming to the split or things like that.
Yeah.
So these are the top 5 in the current split. So I think their names.
Oh, you know what?
If you've got that written down,
actually, I'll throw Lanyon in for the 5. Actually, so that's my 5th.
Righto. So Hamish, you keep that list.
I will.
Tightly secured somewhere, and we can review that. From week to week or maybe mid-season or whatever. Yeah. See how their dices are rolling.
Who are your 5? If you have anything different than mine.
No, look, I don't, Hamish. Unfortunately, my memory retention isn't as good as yours. And I'm sort of like see it and say it. Where like if you know what I mean. Yeah. It happens when you get older. I mean, I'm turning 56 next year. Hey.
I turn 28 next year.
Shut up, you young whippersnapper. Look, there's a whole host of drivers. It is really hard, and this is part of our discussion anyway. But there's a whole host of drivers and this is where this split is just becoming a nightmare in the fact as it is going to be so close, and that's what's exciting about it. We talked about it before, Chad Viger, Rick Viger. There's drivers that, all of a sudden they're putting banger races in, and you go, where did that come from? And then they start to build like Jim did last season, season prior, is that he seemed to sort of have this momentum that just carried him. And for whatever reason, whatever he changed or whatever he learnt or whatever it was, it just started happening. And, there's I think, and this might be where your other listeners coming from, is the cusp of drivers that are on a breakthrough season. Am I right to say that?
I would say those who are on a breakthrough season. And when we say breakthrough season, we're mentioning drivers that are that maybe are yet to take a race win, or it's been a little while since they've taken a race win.
They're on the cusp of greatness.
Yeah, they're on the
cusp.
Like
it's just
they've had some really, really good seasons. Top 10 finishes in the championship, or we predict that they, if they can take the next step, get a little bit more controlled aggression, take some race wins, take more consistent podiums, they're the drivers that are really going to be challenging going forward.
Yep.
And those 5 names for me right now are Shane Randall, Mick Clifton, Tim Mulford, Andrew Hoffman, and Damon Fisher. They are the 5 drivers that I see. If they can take the next step this next season, they can challenge for wins, they can challenge for podiums, they can challenge for top 5s consistently. It's whether the chips fall their way. They've had some issues in previous seasons, whether it's the last 2 or the last 10 seasons, where they've struggled at times with remaining with a cool head, or remaining as consistent as they possibly could, or remaining aggressive, or the changing of the guard, the changing of the skill level in the league has actually pushed them back a little bit. So they're having to take, they've taken strides forward, maybe 5 steps forward, but now they've been pushed 10 steps back, and they're trying to claw their way back through the mud. So they're 5 for me that are kind of we'll call them our jacks of the season, right? They're the ones that they're worth a 10, but they're not quite a king just yet. They've got to go through the armed guards to get to the next point. And the armed guards is the old guard of the race wins. And that's the struggle, and
so going through your list, okay, so Shane Randall, where's he got to, and this is same again as well, do we know exactly what you need to do? No, of course not, but we're just having a discussion about it. So Shane Randall, what does he need to do to make his next step?
more podiums.
Is it
he needs more podiums. That's his next step.
No, that's right. Yeah, but how is he going to get there? Like what does he need to do? Is it pit strat? Is it driving? Is it racecraft? Is it making the right choices?
I think his pit strategies are fine. I say this because I pit strategized to
because you do it,
and I pit strategized to a championship last season. Thank you very much.
Bloody biased.
But no, I think realistically the best thing Shane can do coming into this season is getting his race pace up. His qualifying pace has been incredible. His qualifying pace has been fantastic. He had he had a couple of front row starts, a couple of top 5s in the start order, but he just struggled in the race to stay up there. That's the biggest thing that's holding him back at the moment, is that race pace.
Race pace.
I think race pace, and I think be willing to have a bit more controlled aggression. And it's fine to be patient and wait to go for a move, but sometimes you've also got to try a little bit harder to create said move as well. Now I don't know how he'd go about that, but I know that Ray's done a lot to figure that out. Halil's done a lot to figure that out. James figures that out as well. And I think working with his team to really refine those things will see him go to the next level. I think Mick's in a similar boat. I think Mick has had some great qualifying performances. Yes, he was merred with some issues on the PC or on the rig and stuff like that. Realistically, what's going to refire up for Mick again, I think, is getting the race pace up. And maybe get a little bit better qualifying pace too. I think his racecraft is excellent. I think Shane's racecraft is excellent as well. I think it is, being comfortable racing around these guys at the front and pushing just that little bit more to find that little extra percentage. That's what those 2 guys are really.
Isn't it interesting that if you can put a quali lap in, and you push yourself up the field sort of thing, but you don't have the race pace, so to match some of the higher tiers in that split, that can put you under a lot of pressure. But then also, if you do have race pace and don't qualify well, you get stuck around that
Yeah.
pack that you just can't move through.
Especially if you're not, if you don't want to necessarily try and force your way through the field, which is hard. It's hard to make moves in these cars, hard to make overtakes, and I'm not knocking them for that.
No.
There have been people who have been over attacking at times or overzealous at times when they've started further back in the field. I think keeping that cool head, and again just trying to find some race pace. And Shane was having to deal with learning new pedals and a new wheel last season. The more seasons he gets with it, the better he's going to do. Realistically, we're coming up to cricket season, so we're coming up to what I like to refer to as the Shane Randall off time, where he's not quite at his regular level of time able to be put in because he commits a lot of time to cricket. So the summer is normally the time of the year where Shane just tries to maintain his speed and maintain his position, which is a very fair thing to do, and we're very accepting of him doing that. If he can spend this summer just maintaining where he is, he can focus up for season 2 of iRacing next year and into season 3, or season 1 and 2, of next year, and that's where he'll be able to put focus in and really start to challenge for it. Again.
Come together,
and that's what it will be. And I think Shane's come leaps and bounds. He's gone 2 seasons in a row where he's finished in amongst the top pack of cars and been in amongst the top pack of remaining split 2 drivers in terms of seeding of a previous season finishing position. I think he's very capable. He's gotten his consistency up where he gets consistent top 10s. Now he's going to try and step up to get consistent top 5s and consistent podiums and consistent wins. And those are the stepping stones that he's going to make. It's the same thing for Mick. Tim Mulford's in a similar boat as well. He's been very up and down in terms of his positioning in the field. He's either done really well and challenged for a podium, or he's been a bit further back down the order and been struggling. So I think he's in a very similar position. Best thing Damon Fisher can do to fix his issues is fix that internet. That is the best thing Damon Fisher can do for this season. He's apparently fixed it according to John Van Ray.
Yeah,
you've heard nothing, Brett.
No, I haven't heard nothing. So I'll be interested to see what has happened, actually. The other thing I think Damon needs to do, look, he's been qualifying well. He puts a lot of laps down. I think he's got reasonable race pace. He probably needs to learn a little bit more racecraft, know when to, might as well take the old thing, know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Yeah.
And know when to walk away. So he probably just needs a little bit of that racecraft in his racing. Probably a little bit of aggression. When I say that, I mean, let's take a chance, let's put the car in there or something like that. And the other big one for Damon, I think, is pit strat. Yeah. If he can get his pit strategies better, I think that will help him tremendously as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then the other name, of course, Andrew Hoffman, who's had a massive roller coaster ride of changes across the last sort of 2 years, from WKMP into starting up SCR, the struggles of starting up SCR, starting from, literally the bottom in terms of trying to build up the team, getting the team to a height where they thought they were going to be on a real trajectory. That's now slightly changed trajectory a little bit, but they're still looking strong. They've got a strong lineup of drivers as well. And for him, I think if he wants to focus up and finish in the top 10 this season, because I think that's what the goal should be for Andrew this season, is finish in the top 10.
Yep.
Use it as a rebuild season for yourself to get your mindset prepped, and then season 26 you go all firing at the top 5, because it's going to be a similar situation for Jim. And I think if they're not able to work together and both have that aim, then they've got to try and have the same aim. And Jim's aim may be finish in the top 10 and get a solid finish on the board.
Definitely.
So for Andrew, I think it's a similar case to Damon, where there's been some occasions where he could maybe know when to hold him, know when to fold him. I think there's obviously luck's got a lot involved with it as well, but he is getting more confident, which I think helps him too. The confidence is a massive thing when you're driving, obviously, and the fact that he's getting more confident is going to help him on track. The mindset has changed slightly as well. He would have picked up a couple of things from Mikey Harland when he was there here in the Vets. So, Andrew's an interesting case, and it's going to be one that we're going to keep a close eye on this upcoming season, because, whether he plays it that way and he's going to aim for the top 10 or he's going to aim for a top 5, that's up to Andrew, obviously. But yeah, I think top 10
where are the going to fall for Hoffy?
Where are they going to fall?
Definitely. Yeah, where are they going to fall? Yeah. I mean, there's 50 drivers that are going to want to try and get into the top 10. You know,
Yeah,
that, Hamish,
exactly.
don't you?
I know. So it's a pretty fair effort to finish in the top
Oh,
10.
oh, yeah, no, it is, and these moments of brilliance that sort of like every driver has, you know, and it's like just managing to understand what's happening and keep that momentum going.
And I think
you know?
getting that consistency up of at least trying to put yourself in the position to finish every race amongst the top 10, that's a difficulty in itself, and it's very rare that we get a driver finish in the top 10 in every single race. The majority of the time when that happens, they normally finish around about the top 5. So even aiming for, let's say,
I think
7 out of 10 top 10s is a
Yeah.
pretty fair outcome. And the other
But as a
3 you
driver,
could finish in the top 15 or something, you know?
As a driver, you have to set yourself goals.
That's right.
Like, I mean, some people go, yeah, I'm just racing. I'm going to do the best I can. Yay for me. But I think you've got to set yourself goals. Like, I'm going to say, right, okay, I want to finish in this season in the top 20 or top 15. Give yourself realistic goals.
Yeah.
And I want to finish every race, blah, 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 and not to sort of say you're going to be down on yourself if you don't get it, but you've got something to aim for, get into the practices, see where everyone's at on times, try and get your times, try and figure out what your times are, what's going wrong with your times and all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's so many things you can do to, and I'm going through that period of myself at the moment too, trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong, and I'm probably doing a lot of things wrong. But it's a journey. It's a journey,
So I think those 5 drivers are very capable of continuing to have those processes, continuing to have those little goals. I think it's important as a driver, if your eventual goal is to get back into split 1 or get to split 1, you've got to have goals for each season, and you take those steps to get there. To eat an elephant, you've got to eat it one bite at a time. You can't eat the whole thing at once. So having a goal set for each season, that's what you're going to be able to do. So if it's Hoffy, you might say, right, let's finish in the top 10 this season. Next season, let's aim for maybe 6 positions. So you're 1 off the top 5. And if you get a top 5, brilliant. If you get 6th, then make that aim for the top 5. Go up to split 1, see what happens. If you come back again the season after, you say, right, I've had my top 5. Let's aim for a top 3. Go for your top 3, get your top 3, go back to split 1, etc., etc. So they're the little things we're talking about, having those little goals, and they're the 5 that, for me, I think are very capable of making those charges up the field. There are other drivers out there who can completely blow us away, and I can see making those attempts, and I can see getting.
Well, don't worry, we'll focus on you.
We will indeed. But based on the last 2 seasons, they're the 5 that are really standing out. They're the 5 that have often been around that portion of the track anyway. I've then also got for myself as well, we'll call them the full house drivers of, if you can have a full house, you're going to have an improvement. These are our improvement drivers. And they're not necessarily all at the back of the field. They could be drivers who are, sitting around the back, the mid to top, or the top of the field, and maybe, again, trying to push forward a little bit. Sean Cullen, Wade Reynolds, Simon Haynes, Ben Brook, and Matt Stoyles are my 5 full house drivers. They're the drivers that I could see making that next little step in making a little gain. So Wade, so for Sean, I think reasonably speaking, his aim would be top 20 in the championship. And I think it's a very reasonable goal for him to make a top 20 in the championship. He had some brilliant races at the end of the season, and I think that's going to give him a lot of confidence. Both you and him have had a very similar trajectory in that sort of planning. I mean, you're only 3 races less than him, Brett, and that's because you're away for 2 of them last season. But I think you're both on a very similar trajectory. You got your goal of getting a top 15 a few seasons ago. I think a top 20 for Sean this season is he's very capable.
Very, very achievable. Yeah, definitely.
And then Wade Reynolds, for what I saw last season, I think his goal should be top 10. Whether it's at the back of the top 10, I think he can do that. I think Wade can get, P10 in the championship easily. And I don't think he should be disappointed if it's like 11th or 12th, because that's so close. So close. And it would prove to him that he is still capable of that, of course. Simon Haynes, he's in the same boat as Wade. I think top 10 is very acceptable for Simon.
Old Hainesy. New team, WKMP Sim Sports. Russell Uren's in there as his teammate. Go for it. Have a go at it, Hainesy, and see what happens. For Ben Brook, I think a top 15 in the championship is very achievable and very appropriate as well. I think, that's just the next little step he can take. And then Matt Stoyles, I
I would say his goal for this season should be, let's say, 3 top 5s and at least half the races finishing in the top 10. That
Nice.
I think that's a pretty
Yeah.
reasonable goal for what Matt could have coming into this season. And
Yep.
I think he is capable of that. He proved he was capable of that last season. It's taking it off paper and putting it on track, and
Yep.
putting that forward. And we're listing these names because these are names we're going to want to try and focus on across this season. We're going to try and focus on everybody, of course, but we're trying to give you
Yep.
guys some narratives that we're going to be looking at throughout the season as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
Yep.
the last narrative for me is if they get a full season in, expect them up the front. I've got 2 names on that list.
Full season heroes.
Full season heroes. We'll call them the Royal Flush, if you will.
Oh, the Royal
The Royal
Flushes.
Flush. Trent Allen and Luke Powell.
Right. Yep.
2 drivers very similar of pace, very similar of ability. If they can put a full season in, thanks to not having to work or not having other commitments, if they can race 10 rounds, expect them around the top 5. They
Nice.
are the 2 for me. I did have Scotty Van Loon on the list, but Scotty the Rattler's been away for a little while, so I'm going to have Scotty in the same realm as Jim. We're going to give him a season to get back up and running, or 2 seasons to get back up and running, and then
Yep.
full push.
Yep. Very
So
good.
they're realistically the names and the narratives we want to be rolling with this season. It's a real casino affair for us in 2020 in season 25. Obviously in 2025 this year as well. It's going to be a fabulous
Don't blame the
season.
dealer.
Don't blame the dealer at all. For you,
Anyone got anything further to add
Yeah,
while we are going through the, and chuck it in the chat. Come on, let's fire it up. Have you got someone that you think, other than yourself, that is, we've missed, that is on the radar?
you know what? I'm going to put another name on that Royal Flush list as well, and that's Matt
Yep.
Scholes.
Matt Scholes.
Because I think Scholesy is capable. He's proven it before. There are many names on here that we're going to be keeping an eye on this season.
I mean,
many
and don't
names.
take offense that we haven't mentioned you. It's not. We're just trying to sort of build a bit of the development and build a bit of the excitement. See what's happening. These things that we can see that are going on. You might have a different angle on it and see something else, but throw us a line, throw us something.
Exactly.
Let's have that conversation.
Exactly. And that's what the conversation is about. Is we want to try and make this so we're trying to tell as many different stories as we possibly can across the season.
Yep.
There are many drivers that I want to see do well this season who we may not have mentioned, the likes of Rick Feiger, Todd Duggan. It'd be nice to see Matty Parker be able to get a full season in. I know he struggles with work. Same thing for Brett Taylor. Brett Taylor is an absolute cult hero. I want to see Brett try and get a top 10 this season. That would be fantastic to see. It'd be good to see Mark Houghton back up there. Paul Burns challenging for wins. Craig Friend challenging for wins as well. There are so many different names on this list that I want to see do well this season. I want to see everyone do well as they can.
Yep.
Obviously, as a broadcaster. And whether your goal is to get a race win, whether your goal is to get a podium, whether it's to get a top 5, a top 10, a top 15, etc., we want you to try and get to your goal. And if you you can't hit that goal this season, that's okay, because you can look at it from the perspective of, I wanted a top 15. I finished 17th this season. That's a pretty good gain.
What can I do better?
What can I do better? Last season I finished in the top 25. Well, I have made a gain. It's not as much as what I may have expected, but that can come down to the split itself. You're not racing against the same split as last season. You've got a couple of different names in there. It's always going to change things up a little bit as well. So, they're the names for me, Brett, that I think are going to do well. We obviously had a pre-chat before tonight of names that we thought were going to do well. And I think, if they watch it back, we're saying these things as analysts. We're saying these things as, from what we've seen, this is what might be hurting you in trying to improve.
Yep.
And
it doesn't mean we're right either, but not everyone can win the blue ribbon,
We don't participation trophies out.
No, and everyone else, you guys know that. If you're gonna take home the big blue ribbon, you got to work for it, and
That's right.
And that's the way it always is, and that's the way it always will be.
Brett knows being the teammate of Brad. I know being the teammate of Halil from last season. the amount of work that would have had to been put in from both drivers, even to challenge for the title, was incredible.
Yep.
It's an incredible
Yep.
amount of work you have to put in. You have to be committed every single night to get on and practice and put the pressure on yourself that you can handle and rise to that pressure, rise to that challenge.
Oh,
You know, so
the amount of pressure Brad had in the last few races of last season was immense, was absolutely massive. But he went into it, not to give Brad a big head or anything like that, but he went into it with, I just want to finish in the top 10. I just want to finish in the top 10. That's all I have to do is finish in the top 10. You know, so he was going in a conservative sort of way and racing the same way.
I
You know,
can say it now that Halil went into, it was after Jerez, so he came into the bend and beyond with the mindset of I can win the championship. I want to win the championship. Let's do what we need to do to win the championship. But let's not do it. Let's not try and go above and beyond what we need to do.
It's not win it or bin it.
Let's not win it or bin it. Let's win it. We can win it. You know, this is what we're going to do and take it race by race. And, you know, we knew what we needed for the bend. We pulled off what we needed to pull off. We knew what we needed for Okayama. We knew what we needed for the in-between as well. And it was looking at it at each race and knowing how we were going to approach it was the big thing. You know, I left the majority of it up to him of how he wanted to approach his season, but I gave him some mindset moments of, hey, look, this is where we sit right now. This is how we can now approach it this season. Let's get out there. Let's do some practice. Let's get into it, and let's try and push on. He knew he was in the position to win it after Jerez. That's when he knew he could win it because he had won that second race. After that, it was that's tighten the screws. Let's get everything prepped and let's push on. And you know, he felt the pressure, even though there was less pressure on him in that final round than what was on Brad. He felt that pressure, but he obviously had to work to get through it. So it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task as that driver. It's not an easy task as a teammate either. Especially when you're not on track and you have to sit here for 2 hours and you're like, oh my God, can you actually do this? Where in Shane's perspective, it's like, oh, I'm just having a drive. Oh, you're going to come past me? All right, come past a little. I'll help you get the position. That's fine. You know, so, you know, it's a tough thing to work through.
Look, this season, I think is already building up to. I mean, in my mind, whether I'm falsely building it up or not, I don't know. But in my mind, it's going to be a big season. It's going to be a high roller season.
Yep.
It is, you know, like there's a lot of things at play. There's, you know, like, and it has happened throughout, you know, all the seasons, and we're in season 25 now, obviously. But I just think that the numbers are getting better as far as the split is concerned. You know, the right people are in the split, and you know, it just compacts it. And when it compacts it, it makes all those smaller details a lot more prevalent to, you know, win or lose or anything like that. And, you know, we saw last season a record amount of winners for the series. And I hope to see that again this season. You know, I don't really want to see a runaway, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I think that's what's exciting, you know, like there's so much, you know, hanging in the balance, if you will, about this season coming up. And I think, as we just alluded to, there's a lot of things happening throughout the pack, up the front of the pack, you know, and let's bring it on. Let's get pumped up and let's see where this season's going to take us, because I think it's going to take us to the moon.
Well, we come into this season with 16 drivers and more than 100 race starts in the veterans. We also come into it with half of that over 150 race starts, just under half of that over 200 race starts. We've got 3 drivers who will hit their 100th race start this season. We've got 1 driver who will hit their 200th race start this season. We've got pretty much a whole section of drivers who are between 50 race starts and 100 race starts. And we've got drivers who are still very young in their vets career, from under 50 race starts all the way down to 0. So there is a massive spread of racing amongst this pack of drivers, of, you know, competitors who are aware of who they're around. They're aware of how they drive. They're aware of how they race. And those drivers are all going to be chomping at the bit. We've also got 3 drivers to celebrate their 150th race start this season in Mario Reale, Chad Varga, Mario Reale, and Andrew Hoffman, assuming that they do the allotted amount of races to get them to 150. Mathematically, they can do that. Same thing for Rick to get to, same thing for Todd Duggan, to get to 200 race starts as well. So it's going to be as highly competitive as ever. It's going to be as contentious as ever. For me, there's probably about 15 drivers who on any day could take a race win. You throw a blanket over them, they're going to be separated by nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it is going to be so tight. There's going to be pressure on every single driver to hit their marks and hit their goals for this season. Whatever their goals are going to be, every single driver will have a slightly different goal than another. And it's going to be up to them to hit the task and hit the notes of the exact tune that they want to drive to throughout this whole season. It's going to be a very tough season. It's going to be a fantastic season, though, for them to drive. Just to give a quick rundown of the calendar, we go racing on Thursday night, Phillip Island, 46 laps, 200 Ks. Bathurst, the week after, 300 Ks, 49 laps. Watkins Glen.
Retro round
for Bathurst. Watkins Glen boot course, 51 laps, 200 Ks in round 3. Algarve, round 4. 200 Ks, 44 laps. Detroit Belle Isle, 200 Ks. Sandown, 250. Thruxton, a sprint round where we're going to be having a qualifying race before the sprint round. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, also known as Mexico City, making its debut, as well as Thruxton's also making its debut as well. 200 Ks round 8. Rebel Ring in round 9. And the Saxon Ring makes its debut in round 10 for 150 Ks for a sprint round to the end. So it's going to be a big season. It's well balanced in terms of Australian to European to US-based circuits. It is going to be a fantastic season. You guys do not want to miss it. All the action from Split 1 over on SimSpeed TV to Split 2, 3, and 4 on the Vets channel. Split 2 also broadcasted on Infinity Broadcasting. You can catch it all live across the weekend as we go racing. That's all from me, though. Actually, before I announce it, I did say it yesterday. I'm going to quickly ask you, Brett, are you available to do the broadcast next Sunday night instead of Saturday night?
Great. Probably. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Jeez.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing for the next 5 minutes. Yes, I should be right, Hamish.
Okay, that's fine, because the grand final's on Saturday and my team's in the grand final again. So.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair
And
enough.
I don't know what sort of state I'm going to be in post-grand final, if I'm honest with you. So,
no. Well, you wouldn't be you won't be in any state either way. You'll be in you'll be in commiserations or acceleration. So
that's very true.
But
so Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, we go live for round 1. After that, we'll be going back to regular time slot for the majority of the season. There may be 1 or 2 in there that we need to change, but we'll be discussing that off air as well. Big thank you to you, Brett, for coming aboard this season once again.
No worries. Pumped to be here, guys. Hopefully we have a great season. I'm looking forward to it. Seeing everyone on track again, and it's going to be a good one. I'm pumped.
It's going to be a fantastic season. This is what you got to look out for when you're looking for the broadcast, although obviously it'll be the round number at the bottom. Welcome to Fabulous Season 25 of the V8 Veterans. It's going to be a fantastic time. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight as well. I've been Hamish Munro Brett Fisher alongside. We'll see you guys on Thursday for round 1. We'll see you on Sunday for the first broadcast of the season. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
With lights screaming, tires bleeding, virtual cubes, the motor's breathing, engine thunder from down under, piston fire, turn asunder, put your name in lights. Oh, with the vets tonight, it's a 1,000 decibel super curve fight, burn this track to the ground.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In this sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's just say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Rackraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.